That's what I am, a teacher. So good morning, now that everybody can hear me properly. Yes, good morning. So I'm going to hand over to Chris Cook again. I see us still settling ourselves. We have a fantastic day lined up. Today you're going to take notes again. We've all been going to school on the business of music. And as we're settled, as we're settled, we've all got our tea. Over to you, Chris.
Oh yeah, there we go. Hello. Hello. Oh, wow, yes. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the third day of the Fundamentals of the Business of Music program and the second day of my sessions. Was everybody here yesterday? Was anybody not here yesterday? Okay, so you know where we're up to. So I'm just going to recap to remind you what I'm going to be talking about today. And at various points, we'll get Jeremy back up on stage and we'll take some questions. We're going to do a third section of the case study that we did yesterday, looking at how the money gets shared up in different scenarios. So there's various things coming up. The three sort of chapters of my presentations that are still to come, I'm going to talk first of all about record deals and publishing deals and management deals. So actually in the program that was listed to be the last thing yesterday. So I'm going to do that here for you this morning. So if you're following in the pack, that's sort of section 3 of the pack, page 16. We talked yesterday in Q&A quite a bit about record deals and publishing deals and the management deals. Jeremy talked about, you know, the manager taking 20%, the agent taking 10%, and so on and so forth. We referenced the so-called 360-degree record deals. So I'll be explaining what that means in a little bit more detail. Once we've done that, we're then going to put the focus on digital, on streaming. So we talked at various points yesterday about the shift from selling CDs to selling downloads to now building a business around streaming and around subscriptions and advertising. So I'm going to talk to you about the digital market, about the different kinds of digital services that are out there, which services are gaining traction and where. That will hopefully take us up approximately to our coffee break. And then after the coffee break, I'm then going to talk about digital licensing. And I suppose that's the bit that brings together all of the things that we've talked about. So it will bring together the copyright law that we talked about yesterday. It will bring together the digital business that I'm going to talk about before the break. And then we'll look at how we apply copyright law, how we apply record contracts, how we apply the different digital services, how they combine in order to generate income for artists and songwriters and labels and publishers from streaming. So that's what we'll do before lunch. Hopefully there will then be some time for some more Q&A with myself and Jeremy before lunch. And then this afternoon, we're going to talk a little bit about building a business around your music and the way they differ. And also we'll return to a conversation that actually we were having on Monday, which is looking at the local music industry and how the different strands of the local music industry can work better together to support each other and share information and so on and so forth. So that's sort of the running order of a big chunk of today, with lunch in the middle as always. Once again, the slides you can download if you go to cmuinsights.com/Business of Music 2017. The password you need is Jacap, all capital letters, and you can download these slides and a PDF of the manual that you've got in print. Jacap will also distribute those later, so if you don't do that today, don't worry. Jacap will make sure that everyone gets that through email. So the slides you can have and the manual you've got a printout of, and there's also a PDF available. Okay, is everybody now ready to carry on? Okay. And we'll recap a few things from yesterday as we go as well. Starting off with the first part of this. So I want now to talk about the different deals that artists. So the agreements and the to work with business partners on the different aspects of their business. Remember yesterday, we talked about all the different kinds of music companies out there that artists may or may not form a relationship with. And do you remember how yesterday we talked about that we can split the music industry up into those companies that work with artists on their content, on their songs and their recordings, those companies that work with artists on their performances, on their gigs, on their shows, on their tours, and then this new part of the industry called the fan business, where we build a fan base online, we learn what they'll spend money on, and then we sell those products and services to that fan base. And so we can split the industry up into the intellectual property side of the business, the live side of the business, and then this new emerging fan side of the business, direct to fan. And we talked about the different sorts of companies that are there, the music publisher, the record label, distributor, rights administrator, retailer, digital service, DSP's digital service provider. We're going to say DSP quite a lot today because we're talking about the streaming market. So DSP means digital service provider. So iTunes is a DSP, Spotify is a DSP, YouTube is a DSP. PR and marketing, the collecting societies, both the people who collect rights around your recordings and around your songs, and the merchandise companies. And then we talked about the live sector, and we talked about the role of the agent and the promoter who puts on the show, and the fact that venues play a key role, ticketing companies, and a little bit of PR and marketing on the live side. Then we talked about the fan business and the new companies that are emerging that are working with artists to build a direct-to-fan relationship and also to build relationships between artists and brands who want to tap in to an artist's fan base. And then we talked about the manager and the lawyer and the accountant. So that's what we talked about yesterday, all these different kinds of companies. And I said, remember, that in most music industries around the world, you can find these kinds of companies. And then we talked a little bit about how here in Jamaica, there are publishers, there are labels, although actually, in the main, traditionally, the producers have acted as labels. So rather than the artist directly signing to a record company, the artist signed to a producer who would then do a deal with a distributor. So we have those different elements happening here. We talked a little bit about publishing, about collecting societies, merchandise, the agents, and the promoters. So, as I think I said yesterday, when an artist starts out, initially you will be truly DIY. Do it yourself. Not necessarily out of choice, but because you don't have any business partners. And so therefore, you have to do everything yourself. So initially, as well as being a songwriter and an artist, you are all of these things as well. And I was saying actually afterwards yesterday, when we were having a conversation with some people at the end of the day, as an artist, one of the hardest challenges, bearing in mind at this point, you probably still have a day job because your music isn't bringing in enough money to live off by any means. So you probably have another job that you're doing. And one of the management is working out, okay, realistically, in any 1 week, any 1 month, you can't do everything that you need to do. So you're going to do a bit of songwriting, a bit of recording, a bit of performing. But then what about all of this stuff? Making sure your songs are all registered with Jacap, getting your recordings up online and getting them into the streaming platforms, setting up your social media, looking for gigging opportunities. Once you've got a gigging opportunity, then helping sell tickets to that gig, getting people along to your shows. All of this is time, and you have a finite amount of time. And the biggest challenge every month is looking at the list of things you need to do and deciding which of these am I going to focus on this month. And when you get to the end of the month, you will almost certainly be convinced that you picked the wrong things. And that's life. And that's not just being a musician, that's being a small business. Artists are small businesses. Okay, when you set yourself up as an artist, you are also setting yourself up as a small business. You are now the owner of a small business. And all small business owners never have enough time in the day to do all the things that they need to do. And so one of the challenges is trying to work out, of all of these tasks, which ones are you going to focus on? But into your team. You're looking to do deals with business partners so that you can slowly but surely hand over elements of the work to other people, other companies, who then take responsibility for your publishing, your recordings, getting the gigs, staging the gigs, selling the tickets, so that you can increasingly focus on your music, on your performance, and on having that relationship with your fan base. And so artists are looking for different business partners, and slowly but surely they'll enter into deals, and different people will come into the business, they'll take over some of the money. And as you go through your career, is picking the right business partners. You need their help, you need their contacts, you need their skills and experience. So you need to copyright in order to access those services, and you need to make a decision on which deals are right. Management plays a really important role here, and a lot of artists, the first business partner they will have will be the manager. The manager is the one business partner who is interested in every aspect of the artist's career, and once you have a good manager on board, then artist and manager together can then make the decisions. Which companies are we going to work with, on what terms are we going to work with them, and so on and so forth. So when it comes to making your deals, as an artist, you will have direct deals with a number of these companies. So I think a lot of artists, when they're starting out, they know about labels and producers. So I need a label, I need a producer. But actually, no, you need multiple business partners. And actually, probably management will be the first business partner. And you will do direct deals with a number of these businesses in order to access their services and their expertise. Some of the companies, actually, as an artist, you won't have a direct relationship with. You will access those services via another business partner. So in the UK, where there are a lot of music marketing and PR companies, there are hundreds of companies, they're generally quite small companies, who will provide media services or radio plugging or marketing. But all of those companies need paying, okay? They will charge fees. And so generally, artists don't have direct relationships with those companies. They have a relationship with a record company, and then a record company has a relationship with the PR and the marketing companies, because then the label pays the PR and the marketing companies. The artist doesn't want to have to pay them. So some of these companies, actually, as an artist, you won't have a direct relationship with. You will access them via another business partner. In live, it's very common that you don't get involved in ticketing. So you will allow the promoter to worry about ticketing. I don't need to have a relationship with a ticketing company. I have a relationship with a promoter, and then it's the promoter's problem to find a ticketing company and deal with cash flow and all of the marketing that goes with selling ticketing. Although now in the UK and the US, some artists are starting to form relationships with ticketing companies. Because maybe they can get the money quicker if they have a direct relationship with ticketing companies. Or some ticketing companies will pay the bigger artists to have some sort of exclusivity deal with that artist. But as I say, traditionally, as an artist, you will have multiple business partners, and then through your business partners, you will access other business partners. Now, as you start engaging the services of a manager and a label producer and a publisher and a merchandiser and so on and so forth, then the question is, well, okay, well, what do these deals look like? You know, what is our relationship with our label producer, with our publisher, with our manager, an agent, etc.? And these are like any other business deals. When you enter into business with your business partners, it's like any other business relationship. And there are various questions that you need to ask, things you need to agree and set in stone about your business relationship. So first things first.